Hi, everybody. This is a short midweek devotion by the from the Littleton United Methodist Church, and today I want to talk about catching flies. A number of years ago, I lived in a community where one of my neighbors was a Muslim businessman. I went into his business from time to time. We had casual contact with each other. He was a really good guy, kind of jovial in some ways, and but guarded. One day, when I was in his place of business, among other things, we would talk about business. We would talk about the world around us. But one day, when I was in his place of business, he told me what he thought of Christians, which wasn't very highly. He was an immigrant to the United States. His family were immigrants. He was a Muslim. He had limited contact with Christians, and most of the contact he had was not very pleasant. It usually was in the form of somebody trying to lead him to Christ, and it was often a hard sell and kind of a canned approach. So that it happened enough times that he sort of knew what was coming whenever the conversation started up. I don't know why he talked to me. I'm a Christian pastor. Maybe he had been kind of feeling me out, in conversation enough to think maybe I wouldn't respond that way, or maybe he thought I would respond that way. I don't know. I felt like a test, but he wasn't very pleased with it. And often, once he did not become a Christian, then that warmth that came from the person that was witnessing to him pretty much disappeared. And so he understandably had some walls up. Well, that led to quite a lengthy discussion, which led to another discussion, which led to another discussion. And over a period of time, we got to know each other fairly well. In any way, well enough that he knew that I was not going to, attack him and push my faith down his throat. And I pretty much knew he wasn't too eager to become converted to my faith. But we still were open and we were honest. And he began to ask questions about Christianity, and I would ask him questions about his faith. I would answer unapologetically, unashamedly. I would just answer him the way it was, how I felt about my faith, and he would in turn answer me questions the same way. I think he probably got to see a different side of Christianity from our relationship than what he had seen from the earlier ones, which I understand because at times I have been sort of, bushwhacked by people trying to lead me to Christ. And I didn't always respond real favorably. And it was a good relationship. Now, you may be listening to the story and listening to it unfold, and you may wonder, what did he become a Christian? And my response is probably no. And you might ask, well, did I become a... No, you're not going to ask that, are you? No, I did not become a Muslim. But I think his view of Christianity changed. One day I walked into his business and he came, from his office area and came out to greet me and say hi, and had a big smile on his face. And he told me that he had decided to take a certain percentage of the proceeds from his business and donate it to the different various Christian churches that were in our community. And so from that day on, ever so often, we would get a little check at our church from him, and the other churches in town did the same. So, did he become a Christian? No. But I think some of the walls were broken down. I think he was more receptive to learning about Christianity. So, I don't know if that is a success story or a failure story when it comes to giving away our faith and sharing our faith. But it does tell me this, which is what I kind of hinted at earlier. We can catch more flies with honey than with vinegar. You may be wondering what this has got to do with catching flies. I I became a Christian in the summer of 1974, and sometime that year, or else the next year after that, I came across this little book by an author named Paul Little, and the name of the book was "How to Give Away Your Faith." And on one page of that book, he quotes this old American axiom, and this axiom it's not new to him. He just is kind of cabbaging onto it and using it for his book. But the axiom is that you can catch more flies with honey than with vinegar. Well, somehow that stuck with me, and I began to realize, or at you know late teenage years, there, maybe 20, that 19 or 20 years old, that authenticity and a heart that really cares about other people and honesty about our faith, those can go farther in our witness sometimes than canned approaches that we memorize in high pressure, door to door sales of our faith. So I'd encourage you this week, you've got several days left of this week, to share the sweetness of your faith, the grace of Christ, rather than the vinegar, which we shouldn't have a lot of anyway. May the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ be with you.